So you may have seen that Tucker Carlson is getting a lot of heat and is under attack from the very same people that are trying to convince you, persuade you, that it is in the United States of America's best interest to get involved in another war in the Middle East, this time in Iran, as if we've learned nothing from the last 20, 30 years, including Donald Trump, who once used to call out Netanyahu as a liar for lying to us about weapons of mass destruction and other things that would have been our interest in the Middle East that got us into wars that ended up not being in our interest at all. It's like we've replaced weapons of mass destruction with nuclear weapons, and there you have it. Same propaganda, new war. Same voices, new war. But as Tucker Carlson is getting all this heat, did you read what he actually said? This
is the main reason why I'm playing this right now. I really want you to hear the Tucker Carlson tweet that he wrote on X maybe a day or two ago. But I think it's very important. I think there's a massive split in MAGA on the right. And there's some people that are still in the, I don't know how they don't see it. They're still being, pulled in by the Fox News and the war machine. The war machine is both sides. And you have to understand that at this point. Right. That doesn't mean that we can't help allies and things like that. That's not what that means. What that means is that if a country is doing something independently of itself for its own self-interest, that doesn't mean we automatically have to get involved. Listen, he's going to read the Tucker Carlson tweet. I want to do a little bit of analysis after that.
Here's what he said and why it's actually extremely important. The real divide isn't between people who support Israel and people who support Iran or the Palestinians. The real divide is between those who casually encourage violence and those who seek to prevent it. Between warmongers and peacemakers. Who are the warmongers? They include anyone who's calling Donald Trump today to demand airstrikes and other direct U.S. military involvement in a war with Iran. On that list, Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, Rupert Murdoch, Ike Perlmutter, and Miriam Adelson. At some point, they will have the answer for this, but you should know their names now. So Carlson under a lot of heat.
Now, take a listen to the names. Those aren't far left people. I don't know the last person that was mentioned, but I'll look them up. But on the whole, he's calling out people that would have been aligned with him, even a couple of years ago. And Tucker Carlson has explicitly stated that he has grown and he has understand the error in his ways when he was pro-Iraq war, and he was essentially a neocon. I know that's a dirty word for some, but the left and the right, they have this glob, this mass, this cancer that is constantly funding us and pushing us into wars. That's a big problem. That's one of the things that's really nice about the MAGA right coalition, is that we have dissenting voices that are trying to get away from that stuff almost, and which is why a lot of left-leaning people are shifting over into the MAGA base, because they're also anti-war, right? And let's let Owen do a little bit more and see what else he says.
From the same pro-war voices that many people now think are actually more pro-Israel than they are pro-America, more loyal to Israel than they are to America. But you can have that debate. Here's the debate that you cannot have. If the United States ends up in another war in the Middle East, and let's say it's with Iran, let's say maybe it gets bigger, let's say it gets World War III, let's say it results in a draft. All these things are potentials. These are all very real potentials. I hope none of them happen, but yet all very real potentials. If that happens, do the American people not deserve to know the names of the people that were influencing the president to make these decisions? Do the American people not deserve to know who was in President Trump's ear encouraging him to get us involved in these wars? Do the American people not deserve that? Of course they do. Absolutely, of course they do. Whether for good or for bad. And if all of these people that are mad about Tucker Carlson naming the names, tell me why. If the United States getting involved in a war with Iran, or any larger escalation for that matter, is such a great thing, then why are you embarrassed that you support it? Why do you feel the need to have to operate in secrecy? And why are you so desperate to convince the American people that this war is in their best interests when obviously they don't agree? It doesn't add up. But again, you can debate all that. America deserves to know who is in President Trump's ear telling him we need to go to war with Iran. Who is in President Trump's ear telling him we need to support and engage in whatever military action Israel engages in. Absolutely, the American people deserve to know that. Absolutely, that is imperative information for the American people to know so that the warmongers can't get away. Then why are you afraid to have your name attached with it? If it's so easy to convince the American people they need to get involved, then why are you so desperate to do it? Why are you attacking anybody that debates you on it? So no, Tucker Carlson actually did probably one of the most heroic things ever with that post. It is actually probably the most underappreciated post of all time. He's telling you who is trying to convince the president to get involved in another war that could be catastrophic or result in more American blood or treasure in the Middle East. That is a heroic act from Tucker Carlson. That is the most American thing from Tucker Carlson. And people are attacking him as a foreign agent? Boy, I'm sorry, but that makes me think projection. That makes me think you're a foreign agent when you're attacking an American for warning Americans, which Americans are trying to get more Americans into a war on the other side of the planet. Now, here's one more thing before I sign off this video. Let's not forget that Tucker Carlson used to be the #1 rated nightly news host, and it wasn't even close. Tucker Carlson would regularly double up his competition. Tucker Carlson's show was way better rated than even Sean Hannity's show on the same Fox News network. So, before you try to cast Tucker Carlson off as a foreign agent or unpopular, obviously you're wrong. He was the most popular news show host on cable news by far. And if he would have delivered that message that he posted on X on a Fox News monologue, it would have been international news. It would have been the biggest story in America that he named the names of the people that are trying to get us involved in another war. No, Tucker Carlson is not the bad guy here, whether you disagree with his geopolitical stances or not. Tucker Carlson is an American hero for telling the American people who specifically, by name, is trying to drag them into another war. When the other side of the issue doesn't want you to know what's going on, they just want you to close your eyes, shut your mouth, and get involved in another war. Not going to happen.
Yeah, hopefully it's not going to happen. Yeah, so I thought this was pretty important just because I did wanted to mention the Tucker Carlson post, and it's just better to have somebody, read it out loud. But the other thing is, obviously, I mean, to those saying that he's a foreign agent, foreign asset, or whatever, what would be the reason? Like, what would be the quid pro quo in this scenario, right? Who would he be working for? Like, just play that out logically. If he's working for Russia, if he's working for Iran or whoever, why? It still doesn't make there's no logical sense in this, right? I mean, if he was pro any of those other countries, then he would be, basically telling the U.S. to essentially attack Israel or something to that effect. That's not what he's doing. He's just saying that let's just mind our own business, right? Let's stay out of this. Let's keep whatever resources we have here to ourselves, just like every other country in the world does. They take care of their own. And, we've just gotten to the point where the military industrial complex is so overgrown and so it has its appendages everywhere in every political party and every faction of our lives. And it's something that hopefully will come to an end. I just really hope that the people that are in Trump's ear, they don't push him over the edge. We don't start into another, Middle Eastern war. And it would be, in my opinion, just like Tucker said, it would be the end of the Trump administration if he goes to that length. You'll have the diehard Fox News watchers on your side. You'll have the warmongering liberal people on your side. But for the most part, he would have hollowed out, what was left of MAGA at that point. Guys, thanks a lot for coming out. Please give me a like, give me a share, give me a subscribe. Talk to me in the comments. If you disagree or if you have a different opinion, let me know. I'll talk to you about it down below. Thanks a lot, guys. See you in the next video.